Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's episode 24.
Woohoo! We're starting with the lucky dip again.
Yes. Whose turn is it?
I don't know. I did it last week.
Oh, okay, so
I
it's
did
my
it twice,
turn then.
yeah.
All right. Okay. What do we have? Oh, it's a you question.
Oh, which one? I don't remember my questions.
Do you think Asian representation in global media has improved?
Is that what I wrote?
Yeah.
That's so ChatGPT.
That's a deep question, but also
That's so
that didn't
ChatGPT.
It's so cute. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Over the years, I
agree.
think so.
Yes, it still has a long way to go.
Oh, 100%.
But I think since Crazy Rich Asians,
It went uphill from
Went
there.
up.
I think so.
yeah,
Even though that's like made for white people a little bit.
yeah, 100%.
It's like, it doesn't show Asia in its interesting forms, I guess.
Yeah.
It shows Asia as this
Western-
first world
Westernized.
country, which it is,
Yeah.
most of it, but
Yeah.
it showed Singapore. And Singapore's like one of the richest Asian countries there is, you know what I mean? And then, I think movie-wise, it's improved a lot because you've also got from like that, you got like Shang-Chi.
Simu
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then TV-wise, I think there's still a lot to go.
Yeah, TV wise, I think Crazy Rich Asians. I can't remember if Fresh Off the Boat came before Crazy Rich
It
Asians.
did.
Okay, so maybe it paved the way for Crazy Rich Asians,
Yeah, but
but no one really watched it. It got cancelled very fast. What about Kim's Convenience? Was that before Crazy Rich Asians?
yeah, because that's got Simu Liu
True.
as well.
This was before
like a
he
young
became
him.
big. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think it's gotten better. Because now you get like characters like in Superstore.
Yes, the Filipino
Filipino
guy.
man. Yeah, now he's in St. Dennis, the other medical show. Now.
Yeah, but he's only a guest there.
I
Even though
know.
like it's like
he should be
a regular.
a regular. But again, that's probably where it's lacking because it's a show about nurses and like there's not that many.
Well, it's funny because I do
Filipinos.
see the reels, but it's always with him in it. And there was like
Yeah.
the ones where they're talking about Filipino mafia.
Because that's what nurses are.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, not to do the stereotype, but like that right there is a representation of.
of nurses.
nurses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's still a long way to go. I've been getting fed a lot of TikTok at the moment of do you know Leia Salonga?
Yes, this is Filipino
So
singer.
talking about like media, like Asian representation media. She was the original Jasmine and Mulan voice in the Disney movies, like the very first cartoons.
Oh, really?
So she voiced Jasmine and Mulan,
Ah.
and then she was like the first Miss Saigon in the stage show, like
Yeah.
very very long time ago. So back then, when there was no Asian representation, she was like one of the representatives in this like musical
media.
world.
Yeah.
But you never really saw her face unless you saw her on Broadway.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so she was a big thing for us Filipinos because she was the voice of Mulan and Jasmine, the
That's
two
true.
ethnic princesses.
Of Disney.
Disney, or two of the ethnic princesses of Disney.
They were the ethnic princess for a very long time.
Yeah, like
though.
Pocahontas. That was like
yeah,
the
that
three.
was it. And have you seen Joyride?
No, what's that about?
It's about these 4 girls who are all Asians, which is great.
Yeah.
One of them is adopted from a white family, and like she decided to go to China to learn more about.
Is this
Her
with,
past?
what's her face? Aquafina?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
okay.
no, it's not.
Oh, that's
No,
a different show. Okay,
No.
a different movie.
Anyway, it's pretty funny,
Okay.
but it's like think Bridesmaids level
Yeah.
of humor, but
Yeah.
with like Asian women.
Okay.
So I thought it was. I watched it on the plane like a few.
Is this a movie?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'll watch it on a plane if they have it.
Very funny. Give it a go because it's just like okay, it's like men humor, like
Yeah.
toilet humor, but Asian girls, which you barely see
Yeah.
as well.
You don't see them in a group. Like there's always just a token Asian friend.
Yes,
In
like in
movies.
like Pitch Perfect, where you had that one quiet Asian girl, and that
Yeah.
was it.
Or like I'm trying to think like even Shay Mitchell, but she wasn't even Asian in Pretty Little Liars.
She was like Indian, American Indian.
Yeah. But she's probably And the other girl from Pretty Little Liars, the one they also don't like. That's not A. She was half.
Mona.
Yeah, Mona.
Oh yeah, she's half Filo, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had 2 half Filipino people in Pretty Little Liars, but like they were not Asian on the show.
I guess they weren't portrayed as Asians in a sense.
No.
But I also like think, even though there's been an improvement in Asian media, there's also like a certain bucket that
That
they
you have to
grab from.
feel. Of
No, well,
course.
that they grab from.
Yeah, of course.
After Crazy Rich Asians, you got what's her name, Michelle
Yeoh.
Yeoh,
Yeah.
like
Even though she's
everywhere.
been acting for like ages, but she's just like now she's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like I remember watching James Bond, and she was a blonde girl, and I didn't even realize that that's her.
Crazy. And she's been around for so long.
So long.
Then yeah, I don't know who else is there that's everywhere now. Simu, he's everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
They're the only two I can think of right at the moment. That's like everywhere.
Aquafina.
Oh my god, yeah, she's everywhere too.
And then the guy in the husband in the everywhere.
Oh, Henry Golding.
No. The husband in everywhere. All at once.
I forgot his name. He's
yeah.
so sweet. But then before that, I was thinking of someone else. Oh no, I can't remember now.
Yeah, so he was like an Indiana Jones when he was like a kid.
Yeah.
And then he was in that everywhere.
Everything everywhere
all at once.
Yeah.
And then he was on Loki.
I
Season
didn't
2.
know that.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch Disney Marvel things anymore. But I was actually thinking of the comedian whose name just left my head. The Vietnamese Chinese girl.
Girl.
Yeah, she's a female comedian.
Yeah.
She got divorced from her husband. Now she's dating Bill Hader. Oh my god, she's like short, has really thick glasses. And she was in
Ali Wong.
Ali Wong, yeah, she was in Beef, yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot she's divorced now.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, but like I was thinking about it's extends to like comedy, right? Like obviously there's like Asian comedians, but they don't make it that big worldwide. But now
Beef. Yeah, I remember
now
that
Ali
show.
Wong was like stand-up comedian, and suddenly she was in like Beef.
Yeah,
And,
good show though.
Great show.
With Stephen Yeun.
Yeah, he was one of the OG representatives.
Yeah, from Walking Dead as
from
well.
Walking Dead.
Did you ever watch? It's another Michelle Yeoh show on Netflix. Something Sun.
Nah.
I
Don't know.
forgot.
I've only seen her in
Brother
movies.
Sun or some shit.
No, I've only seen her in the movies.
Got axed.
Speaking
Sad.
of Netflix, the girl that's one of those Netflix romance teen rom-com shows. The teenage boy.
Not Kitty. XO Kitty.
For All the Boys I've Ever Loved.
Yeah.
That one.
XO Kitty kind of rolled into that.
I don't know what that is.
It's a
but
spin-off
Okay.
of the sister, younger sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
So behind of these shows. But I'm like, they're slightly getting there. But yeah,
it's different level though. It's still like whitewash-ish.
Yeah, I'm yet to see a Filipino that looks like me and you.
Well, if they looked at us, if they looked like us, we'd be famous.
That's true. But like, because you have most of the people that are big in like Hollywood Western media are half, like Olivia Rodrigo. I think she's like a quarter. I actually don't know if she's half a quarter.
No, she's half.
Half, yeah.
Versa and Hudgens is also like.
Oh yeah, but we don't claim her because she disowned us for a while.
Yeah, she's a
Same as Shay Mitchell. She disowned us for a while.
Bruno Mars.
He's like a quarter. I think.
Yeah,
but still, like that's what I mean. Like they're not fully full
filler.
Yeah.
I actually don't.
Not in the Western world. But speaking of like media, K-pop, huge rise of K-pop over the years. So you'll see them in like everything now.
In a sense, yes, but in a sense, some part of the world is still unsure about them. Do you get
like
what I mean?
Western world though?
Yeah, the Western world.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a certain age group where they don't know K-pop. You know what's funny though? White Lotus. While we're at it, this season they have Lisa from Blackpink.
See, I told you they're everywhere now.
And I'm like, this girl is the most famous out of everyone actually on this show. And probably the richest.
No, dude, one of the guys is the Slytherin dad. Malfoy dad.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
But she's definitely more famous than him right now.
She's more famous than anyone on that show.
Yeah.
From a sense of like how many people know her.
Yeah.
But I also have a feeling a lot of people that like watch White Lotus don't know her from Blackpink.
Interesting.
Like you have to have that background knowledge as well.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Also, I was like, we were watching it the other day with Vincent, and he was like, wow, she's a bit dark here.
Vincent, that's racist.
It's not.
He's smiling right now.
And I was like, no, I think they made it a bit darker because obviously she's meant to work. She's a hotel staff in Thailand.
She
like,
is Thai, isn't she?
Yeah, she is Thai. But like, I saw her in her promo posters, and she's pale.
Because she needs to be recognized.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
was shooketh.
But her true colors are probably the one in White Lotus.
White Lotus, yeah, it's true. It's true. What else?
Like, but
Yeah.
K-pop in sense of like the big bands, so
Yeah.
like Blackpink and what's the other one? The
BTS.
yeah, BTS. So yeah, because they're doing like collabs with everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
Like when I don't even know which BTS it was, the one that did it with Coldplay, and then they've got, is it Jennie and who did Aperture?
Oh, Rose
And Bruno, and then I think it was Jennie and The Weeknd. They did a song together.
Yeah, and there's also Jenny and Dojo Cat recently.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're doing collabs with everyone. At the
Everyone,
moment.
but it's like everyone that people recognize
yeah,
because they're all outside of their own the group.
yeah, but collectively,
Collectively,
I am
yeah.
not a K-pop fan.
Me
so
neither.
collectively, I
It's
wouldn't
weird
know.
how much I know this though.
Yeah,
me
but
not
you
being
like
K-pop.
K-drama.
I do, but they don't like. They're not. They don't talk about these K-pop bands.
No, but I guess you have like
Exposure.
overlap.
Yeah.
Squid Games. That's what I was thinking about.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the big one. In
That is a big
Western
one.
Media. That's
I think people
becoming-
forget that that's a K-drama.
Yes, but I don't wonder if people watch it dubbed or subbed, like the percentage. Yeah, you know,
No. But thoughts on people watching
dubbed.
Asian shows dubbed?
I don't do it.
Yeah, I think it's a no.
That's a no.
It
for
shouldn't be
me.
allowed.
I don't. I
It
used to
shouldn't be an
watch
option.
anime dubbed when I was young. But I didn't know that was like when I was like young. I was
Yeah.
like 10. I didn't know that was dubbed. I thought that's just how it came.
But that's like everything anime we saw on TV though. Every anime we saw on TV on
Yeah,
Australian
exactly.
TV was dubbed.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I
That's
didn't
what-
know. I mean, sometimes the mouth movement, I was like, oh, that doesn't match. But like anything
Yeah,
I
didn't
saw,
know at all until like my dad
Yeah.
came home with like a pirated anime, like episodes of some show, and I was like, oh, this is in Japanese.
Yeah, like Pokemon. I remember
Oh
watching
my god,
that, and I
Pokemon
was
was
like,
dubbed in my whole
yeah.
life. Yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay, this is just how it is. And then it turns out it's all a lie. Pokemon, One Piece,
Dragon
all of
Ball
that.
Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
all fake
Yeah.
English.
Sailor Moon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh wow. And then like one time I was watching Ash on Pokemon, and he didn't have like, he had a Japanese symbol on his hat
Yeah.
instead. And I thought, what the hell is this?
That was before you even knew he was Japanese.
Yeah. And then I realized then I'm like, oh, I don't think this is English.
Not English, no. But going back to the shows, I don't watch them dubbed. I just can't handle the dub voices.
It feels weird.
But it goes to both ways because when I was in Japan at the Harry Potter studios, they showed like they had this video of the guy that played Harry Potter, like dubbed his voice in Japanese for like all 7 films.
Oh yeah.
So they showed him in like one of the videos, and
Yeah,
I
it's true.
was listening to it and I was like, oh, I don't like this either.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. Yeah, because they do it on the rides. I went to Universal over there,
Yeah.
and yeah, all the rides of Western characters that we know who speak English
Yeah.
were dubbed in Japanese, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's weird for my eyes.
Yeah, but it's like normal for them.
yeah, but weird for my ears.
It felt so wrong. So I'm like, it goes both ways. It's not just necessarily like Asian shows.
Do you know what
It's
I
Western
think
shows
it
too.
also is about
What?
dubbing? I know this is a bit of like a sidestep,
Mm.
but the dub voice is just never as good.
Yeah,
as the real
original.
voice.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if they're trying to, like, if a character's angry, like how, like K-drama, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think I could ever watch a dub.
No, I can't.
When a character is like
And they're like,
screaming their
"Whoa."
lungs off, like a female,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. How do you do that in English? Because it just doesn't translate the same.
Maybe you just gotta scream in an English way, like ah.
But that's how they scream in Korean. That what you just did, like that.
Maybe the scream is multilingual.
Lingual. Mm. Sometimes I watch trailers when I see it because they get played automatically
Mm.
dubbed, and I'm like, nah, this feels wrong.
I don't even watch it.
Feels
trailers
wrong. I
dubbed.
feel like I'm betraying
No, it
my
just feels weird.
Asianness.
It just feels weird to my ears, and it's not even I'm betraying an Asianness. It's just like, why can't you just show me the OG? Because I get some people don't want to read, but I like reading.
But if you're gonna watch a foreign show, do the hard yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this last episode.
Mm.
I'll do the hard yards of sitting down and reading it, but I have to be in the mood.
Yeah, or else you get distracted,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like Squid Games, I could watch it when I'm in the mood because I have to read the subtitles.
Oh
But
yeah.
I remember watching this TikTok reel.
I can't eat and watch.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There was this TikTok reel of last season's Squid Games with Thanos, and his lines dubbed and in different languages, and it was
Oh.
and like they put it all together like the
Oh, yeah,
same
I think I
scene.
saw that.
Yeah, it was so interesting because he'd be talking in an English line in the show,
Yeah.
but then in the dubs, obviously they have a different person voicing the dub, so it just sounds so wrong. Even though they're saying the same line.
Yeah,
in
in
English. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It is weird because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it
Doesn't
just
sound right to my
doesn't
ears.
sound like him. That's why.
Doesn't sound like the character.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. It's
Yeah.
hard to imitate a character's voice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
but yes, overall, I think Asian
Mm.
representation in the industry has improved,
Yeah.
but we still have such a long
Long way to go.
way to go.
Yeah, maybe in the end of our lifetime it'll get better.
I'd hope prior. I'd hope by the time we are in our 80s, it is the other way around. We got a new housemate.
Yes, I have seen them.
Them
I don't want to start the conversation off without
introducing
you
them.
introducing them.
They. So they is a he
I know.
for now.
For now.
And it's Vince's younger brother,
Ooh, his name is
William.
William, but he pronounces it as
William.
William. Hello, William, if you listen to this.
He probably doesn't. We're
No,
too
he'll
old.
see the
He's
reel.
on our demo graphic.
He'll see the reel, and then that's when he'll listen.
Yes. So he is here at the moment
Yep.
because he's studying uni.
Yep. For how long?
3 years.
That's a
He's
long
doing his
time.
bachelor degree. Same as me. Same degree as me.
Mhm.
Same school, university as me.
Mm.
Different lecturers though. Different
Yeah.
projects. But
Are the
same
projects
principles.
harder?
They're very uni based, if you know what I mean. Probably not. So
No, because I
the
didn't study Monash. So what does that mean?
it's conceptual thinking, but
Uh.
things that will not necessarily be useful in the real world.
They're always like that. Yeah.
Which is from my perspective, is a bit annoying because I'm like, oh damn, I wish they'd teach you more practical stuff. But from his perspective, I'm sure it's good because then he's not actually dealing with real world problems like what I do on a day-to-day basis.
But doesn't
with my
that
job.
set you up for failure when you enter the real world?
Oh, 100%.
Because I find because I think Monash is up there with like Melbourne, where they spend too much time on the theory part of things.
Yeah.
But
Monash pushes you from to be more like this artistic, conceptual way of thinking, even though
Yeah.
the course is design and not necessarily art.
No, that's what I meant. It's
Um,
very if it's a practical degree, it should be a little bit more practical.
And yeah, and I think it was mostly up to us to kind of push our practical abilities
Ah,
and get that out of our teachers essentially, because
interesting.
it's not like we were trained to like how to use different programs.
University is a fraud.
100% agree. I think we should just not need it.
Yeah, just
I feel like the best training I've had is at my job.
100% same with me. Just like apply for like an internship and then you learn there.
And then you learn there.
Then we don't need to spend like $50,000, $60,000 on a degree.
Yeah, and he's an international student, so it's like triple that.
Yeah, where I learn nothing.
Yeah.
That applies to my job. Yeah.
And then you get to your job and you're like, wow, what did I just spend the last 3 years
100%.
on?
Yeah. Nothing.
And
Money.
you're in debt.
Yeah. It's still me.
And
I'm
for
still
what?
in debt. For nothing.
Oh, me too. And
Yeah.
for what though?
Yeah, nothing.
Just so I could have fun and go to ABC in Melbourne Central.
Yeah. Go out to coffees. with
Yeah.
friends, Yeah.
So he's living with us for the
Uh-huh.
next 3 years. He's been here for like a month now, which is nice.
That is a fast month.
It has been.
Because I remember when I first met him, it was like 3 days after he arrived in Australia.
Yeah. And now he's here for a month.
Wow. Fast month.
And it's like week 5 at uni already.
Wow, that
Wow.
is fast.
Oh no, week 4. But yeah, it's actually quite nice having a little Vincent around, I guess.
Does Vincent like having a little Vincent?
He loves it because
Aw.
he also like had to move here to study, so
Yeah.
he didn't get to spend a lot of time with William
Yeah.
after the age of 6.
Aw.
So this is kind of him catching up
Yeah. Okay.
some brotherly
Nice.
time,
Yeah.
which is nice. So Vincent was very excited.
Yeah.
And a good thing is it's helpful around the house,
Yeah, okay.
which is what you want. But
But
also,
also, I think
Vincent,
Vincent trained him to be like that.
to a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think he'd be allowed to not be.
Yeah. I think Vincent would have told him off.
Yeah. In saying that, I am now surrounded by a lot of Gen Zs
Why?
because of work.
I was like, how many people in your house are Gen Z besides him?
Me,
You're not.
my cats.
Yeah, your cat is like a Gen Alpha.
Yeah, and it's interesting to kind of be surrounded with it from a professional standpoint, but also from a personal standpoint, because you kind of see where things overlap. So I wanted to like talk about things I've noticed from their
But how
generation.
Gen Z are we talking? Because I have friends that are Gen Z, but they're like on the cusp. And so
I'm
sometimes they're
talking
not that Gen Z.
like 24 max, 24
Okay,
years
that's
old
super
max.
young for me.
Yeah.
Do I have any
well,
friends that are 24? No, I have a lot of colleagues that are 24.
Yeah. So you might be able to relate. Wait,
Yeah.
what kind of colleagues?
I
Like
work
actual-
with 24
Oh,
year olds.
okay.
Yeah.
Ah, good. So just things that I've like noticed or learnt from like being around them the last few years.
Okay.
Terrible memory.
I feel like they just don't care.
I don't know if they don't care because
I don't think they care to remember.
I don't think they care to remember.
Yeah, that's why they have terrible memory.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, oh, you should remember this, but then they don't know the difference between what to care to remember and what not to care to remember.
Okay.
So then everything just becomes don't care to remember.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like telling them the same thing
Yeah.
3 times. And I'm like, dude,
Like,
I've
why
told-
don't you remember this?
why don't you remember this?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, maybe it's the TikTok. But it's like,
No, but I'm on TikTok.
yeah.
I
it's
also
just short
don't
attention
remember
span.
Yeah, I also don't remember anything. But like,
But you know when you need to remember something,
yeah.
right? Okay.
I think it's a lack of sense of urgency.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what I had in mind as well. I just couldn't
Yeah.
put it to words.
Yeah, because nothing is really that important to them anymore.
Yeah, but why?
Um,
Like, why?
because we
is
paved the way for life to be easier for them.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like we're really gassing ourselves up. Like,
No, it's very true. I think millennials really paved the way to break trauma and
yeah,
try to change a revolution. And I think Gen Z is just sort of like reinforced that.
yeah, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, oh, maybe you should get a bit of trauma.
Yes, it's kind of like they reverted back to
Yeah.
boomer life.
Yeah, where it was like, well, in a sense, but I get what you mean where we've really tried to stand against all this discrimination and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I think we've protected them a little bit from it.
I feel like it's not even protected. They just became ignorant. For example, the things I can think about is like vaping, smoking, and sunscreen. So like millennials, I don't know, maybe because it was during COVID, but we as a collective are very good at like skincare for some reason because
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
we've like, you know, like millennials don't look old for their age. Well, some people do, but like collectively, millennials look quite like if you compare, like for example, Friends. When you watch the first season of Friends, they're the same age as me.
Yes, they
And
were
they
in the
look
early 30s.
so much older
Yeah,
than
that's
me.
true.
So like I think millennials as a generation got really good at sort of like
Self-care.
self-care.
Yeah.
And-
Hashtag wellness.
yeah. So like we didn't smoke as much until vaping became cool the last couple of years.
But even the vaping situation, it's not necessarily all of us millennials doing it. It's
No.
actually kind of went down.
Yeah, it went
through-
back to Gen Z.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I'm like, it's kind of like they just became ignorant to this self-care stuff.
Yeah.
And they've sort of reverted back to this boomer lifestyle.
Yeah.
Rather than cigarettes, they're just vaping instead.
Which is just as bad.
Yeah. You just don't know. It's like back, like, you know, same with cigarettes back then. They didn't know the consequences of it until
Oh, no,
years
because it was
later.
advertised as cool.
Yeah. And so same with vaping. Like there's not enough study. Like it's probably like, you know, it's advertised a bit better, but there's not enough time that has passed.
To kind of see the consequences of what it does to your body.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I feel like they've reverted back and just became more ignorant to the things that we
We're like,
tried
oh my
to
God,
like
yeah.
change
yeah.
for them.
Yeah. That's what I mean. When I see a Gen Z vaping, I'm like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
shouldn't
totally.
do that. That's terrible for your lungs.
Oh, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, I guess they won't find out till down the track.
Until their skin starts to look really shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably, and that's why they don't have a sense of urgency because they just don't care.
Yeah, I guess so. And like the no sense of urgency also means I find that the way they are with money
Yeah.
is different to the way we are with our money. It's like they're not too worried about having to deal with it in the future.
I feel like, I reckon from that perspective, it's because they realize everything's fucked.
Oh, so it's kind of just like, who cares
Because they
about it
live
now?
life through inflation.
That's
So
true.
they're just like, everything's fucked anyway, so might as well enjoy my life.
But also, they don't necessarily understand inflation.
No, they don't. They have no idea what
because
that is.
they entered the world, well, the paying world,
Yeah.
at this point where everything's already costing this
This
much.
much, yeah.
Whereas we entered the world where a smashed avo could have ranged from $9.50
Yeah.
to $12.50.
Yeah.
And now it's like $20.
$20, $25. So yeah.
$25 depending on what season it is and what
Yeah.
avocado you get.
Yeah, so that might be true actually. Because yeah, we definitely knew prices lower.
Yeah.
But all they've known is everything's expensive. So you
Yeah.
might as well just enjoy your life.
100%. Which part of me, and I think part of me agrees to that. Like, yeah, you should definitely enjoy your life, but also leave some for yourself in the future.
I'm both. I can't, because I've always been on the.
Yeah, but you leave some for yourself in the future.
Oh yeah, of course.
You're not
like,
at $0 savings.
No, but I've always been in the mindset of, I'm like, what good is my money when I'm old? When
yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah.
So if I don't enjoy my life now, but obviously I still need money when I'm old.
Exactly.
So yes.
Because like, what happens when you make it to 90 and you're broke?
Oh well, that's fine. I'm gonna die
Just
anyway.
die.
I'm gonna die anyway. It's fine. But
But
like,
knowing our genes, you won't.
no. It's more just like for example, there's people that just sit on their money for years, and they haven't done traveling. They don't go out
Yeah,
to eat
yeah.
like at nice
And
places.
I think that is like the boomer generation
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. Funnily enough, even though everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're a boomer. You must be made of money," and it's like, well,
well,
that's
yeah,
because they saved up.
yeah. They say that because times were really hard,
Yeah.
and they never knew what like the next hardship
What
was
would
gonna be.
yeah, like when's the next global financial
Yeah,
crisis?
exactly. So I think that's a generational trauma for them.
Yeah.
And
Now
then-
the kids are like, who cares about global financial crisis? We're just gonna spend money anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think about the people when I went to Billie Eilish's concert. I thought that was. I've been to so many concerts, and it was pretty pricey for what she provided.
How much was it?
I feel like it was in 220, 230 something.
Okay.
But what really pissed me off was she had fucking pillars. I knew she had a center stage.
Yeah.
But there were fucking pillars around.
Blocking views.
Yeah, so like my point of view, until she was a certain angle, I couldn't see her.
Oh really?
So it reminded me of Drake when I saw Drake years ago. But I just thought, and I paid $250 for Drake years ago for the same problem.
Right.
And I was just thinking, this is expensive for what you've given me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But then Gen Zers would have been like, oh yeah, Billy, and then just screaming and
That's true.
yeah,
But also, like, if you compare, not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about, but if you compare Billy's 200 something and Taylor's $300 for us,
yeah. But I got a 3-hour show.
we got a 3-hour
Yeah.
show, right? And
Yeah.
it was like a 3-hour show spanning at least a decade
Yeah,
or 15 years of discography.
and she had a lot more effects.
Oh, yeah.
I
The
was
budget
like-
was high.
Yeah, the budget was high.
And yeah, I mean, like, concerts these days are getting out of hand price-wise, I think.
Crazy.
Like, I remember when Ed Sheeran was charging $90
Oh my god, yes, that was
for
like
no matter where you sat.
yeah, that was like when we watched Ed Sheeran
Yeah.
like 3 times.
Yeah, because he was charging $90 and I'm like, yeah, $90.
And I probably will never watch him again.
Yeah.
Because he's too expensive now.
Do you know how much I paid to watch Shawn Mendes? $160.
That's pretty good.
That's cheap.
That's pretty good. But yeah, Gen Zers, I think they just, yeah, they just don't care. That's the attitude that I get.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, some things we can learn from them.
Yeah.
Is caring less.
Exactly,
I
caring
think sometimes
less.
we care too much.
That's true. I feel like I
100% care too
care
much.
too much.
Yeah.
And then it's like ingrained in me to care more than I should.
Oh my god, there's like it just reminded me of so one of my colleagues at our Christmas party last year. She was talking to like one of the doctors that we work with, and she's never spoken to him before. She was super drunk,
Oh,
and
okay.
she was just like, "Who are you?" And the doctor was like, "Oh, I'm I'm Heath," and then she's like, "I don't care." And then just like, and I was just sat there. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that to him because I I respect him as like who he is. And she was just like, who gives a shit? He's just a person. And I was like, well, that's the
Wow.
attitude I need to have.
That's an attitude you need to have, but also not have at the same time.
But it was funny. Like he thought it was funny,
Yeah.
but I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's like certain like people that I work with that I can't break the barrier in my head of like,
Elder.
yeah, like I need to be this certain person or behave this certain way
Yeah.
or like please them in this certain way because
Yeah.
I work with them. But she's just like, who cares? He's just a person at the end of the day. If he gets mad at me, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, wow,
Wow.
that's so ballsy. I wish I
Yeah.
could be like that.
But then, what if everyone's like that? What happens to the world?
Everyone,
It's a bit chaotic, isn't it?
it just becomes every man for themselves.
Yeah. Hunger Games style.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is, I guess, we need hierarchy in this world. It's terrible to think that, but this world survives on hierarchy in all the ways, whether it's your job, your family, financial, where you like the country you live. Like, not everyone can be prime minister.
No, they can't be prime minister. But I
And I
think
guess actually,
yeah, go on.
Like, I think that I don't care also comes from the participation badge.
Of what?
Of everyone just gets a participation badge. So everyone's kind of got a bit of, oh, okay, I'm just as good as
I think
them. Like, why it doesn't.
I feel like it goes both ways from my perspective. Because like, yeah, there should be a prime minister. Not everyone can be a prime minister, but in my head, we shouldn't put that much importance on
On one person.
On the one person.
Of course.
So it kind of goes both ways. Because that's what I'm like, yeah, everyone gets a participation badge. But like this person, yeah, they might be better than me at this. But it's like, so what? So I can accept that.
Yeah.
I think that's the attitude that she was kind of being like, okay, so if you're this person, that's fine. But it doesn't affect who I am. And I like that mindset. Because it's sort of saying you're not putting yourself down because this person's better than you or higher than you.
Oh, yeah. I think
So
from that
like
perspective,
that
that's nice. But there's also like, do you show respect or do you not show respect? And I think
respect should just be like
both
inherent.
ways. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It should just be part of life.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean like you respect them because they're like higher than you.
Yeah.
They should just respect them because they're a person.
A human.
And if they respect you, then that's better. If they don't respect you, then don't respect them. That's what I think. It's a fundamental
of course,
life.
yeah.
But I feel like our generation sort of gets caught on, the hierarchy of things. But obviously you need it for a little bit because there's things I see in the office on TikTok where these Gen Zers wear like the fucking skankiest outfits to work.
Oh.
And it's like,
what are we talking?
Like crop tops and short skirts to like a corporate setting. And like we look back.
Why am I shocked? Because
you're not on TikTok.
Okay, no.
And you're also on corporate, but you're not on TikTok. That's why.
I'm not corporate though.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But whereas like in our generation, we used to wear corporate wear to like clubs. Like that when we went out clubbing, we'd wear like, well, girls, they'd always wear like pencil skirts and like these fucking peplum tops, which you wear in the office too. And then and then guys would wear like shirts.
So do you reckon that's a down?
That's probably the downside of like not caring, in the attitude of like I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
Because then there's no professionalism anymore. Yeah.
Which I think it should exist.
Yeah, definitely. You can be professional and still not like let a person's judgment on you affect you, but you still be professional.
Yeah, because obviously there's a level of representation you're putting out there for your company.
Yeah. And it's just, I just was shocked when I saw like some of the outfits that they were wearing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's like the tattoo rule.
True.
You know how back then it was like no tattoos,
Yeah.
you would hide that stuff.
Yeah.
But now I think for millennials it was kind of more chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one really enforces a hard ban on tattoo. No one goes, oh, you can't work here because you got a sleeve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's their version, I guess.
I guess so. I think it's just like pushing the line to see what they can get away with.
Yeah, but how far? Like, is one day rocking up to work nude gonna be the norm? Is that it?
I hope not.
That's beyond their generation, I think.
But then I was
there's too much body dysmorphia in their generation.
Oh, that's actually another way that we've reverted. So Gen Zs have reverted back to the boomer life because we spent like. As a millennial, I spent a good amount of my childhood having like fucking body dysmorphia. And then there came like, I don't know when it was, the Kardashian phase when everyone was like, oh my God, thick
Big
is
booty,
good.
yeah.
And then suddenly now skinny is good again. Like Ozempic is good
Yes,
again.
Ozempic is good
And you got to be
again.
anorexic to look nice again. And it's like I'm back in the 2003 where the magazines would be like, oh my God, she's gained weight, but she gained like nothing. And then it's just because she wasn't anorexic.
Yeah.
So we've kind of reverted back to that, I think.
Yes, but and at the same time, that's from a girl's perspective as
Yeah.
well. And then from a boy's perspective, I guess it's like being this like certain level of fit that you would see on like your TikTok
I feel like gym fit.
gym fit.
I feel
Yeah.
like millennials did that too.
Yes, but it's the new generation seeing that and being like, "Oh, that's normal. That's what is meant to be normal. That's how my
Interesting.
body should look." Whereas like we only got exposed to it to magazines and
Yeah.
maybe TV, and whereas they're getting exposed to it from the moment they wake up. Swipe,
True.
scroll, scroll, scroll. They're taking a shit. Scroll, scroll,
True,
scroll.
true.
You know, they're on the train. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Do you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
is just everywhere, and I think that's also going to become a big thing in the future. Is people are going to have eating disorders if they or don't already.
100%. We're back. That's what I mean. Like we're back to the eating
It's
disorder.
back to and I felt like we fought so hard to kind of get away from that
Yeah.
as well.
But it's Ozempic. I blame Ozempic. Celebrities
Yeah.
on Ozempic. That's who I
Celebrities
blame.
on
Yeah.
Ozempic because it kind of like gave them the easy way to lose
Yeah,
weight
yeah,
rather than the quote unquote healthy
yeah,
regime.
yeah. Because back then it was surgery.
Lipo. It was
Yeah,
lipo, or
BBLs.
yeah, and staple,
Yeah,
stomach stapling.
but now you don't need to do that.
No, you
'cause
just
it's gone Ozempic.
inject
Yeah,
a diabetic.
which is really bad. The diabetic
Terrible.
people actually are being deprived of this. But yeah, going back to Gen Z, I think that's the attitude. They just don't care.
Don't care, but we can learn from that. There's some things we can learn from.
Yeah, like you can not care too, just to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully there comes a point because Gen Zs aren't millennial millennials children. You know what I mean? Like they're not
Yes.
the children of millennials.
So maybe the Gen Alphas will come back.
I think so because they'll hopefully
Oh,
us
they
millennials.
might be worse because we are the generation of gentle parenting.
Yeah.
Which I
but
am not opposed to, but
Are we
to an extent.
are we the generation of gentle parenting, or was that prior to us?
no, we are definitely the generation of gentle parenting.
So do you think Gen Zs isn't a result of gentle parenting?
No,
Really? I
don't
thought it
think
was.
so. I don't think so.
Wow. I don't think I'll be a gentle parent.
No, you
parent.
definitely would be. I'm assertive. I'm not gentle. Jacob is gentle because we were talking like with our cats. One of my cats, Lomi, she tries to steal food. I'll just be like, no, and I'm firm.
Yeah.
And she doesn't try with me. But the moment I like stand up, Jacob, like Lomi will try to come and get his food, and he'll just be like, Lomi, that's not good.
Oh,
Come
no.
on. I'll be like, Lomi, stop.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
And then she stops. But Jacob says I'm too firm.
Interesting. I can't wait to watch that
Mm.
if and when you guys decide to have kids and how
Yeah.
that will turn into a human.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I think so. Maybe because millennials are watching Gen Zs, they might, like, I know we're gentle parents and stuff, but they might be able to give that balance to our kids and be like, okay, well, yeah, it's fine not to care, but there's a certain level where you care and don't care.
Yeah, that's just assertive parenting. But I think Gen Z is just, I don't know. They were not gentle parented. I don't think they were. Because the Gen Zs I know probably just didn't have any parents.
Oh,
Like just not, the parents were just absent.
like working or just
Yeah, or like
Oh, okay.
divorce or I don't know what other
Interesting.
trauma. So maybe that's why collectively they just don't care because no one cared.
maybe because I feel like the Gen Zs I know, not they weren't parented the same way we were parented, if you know what I mean.
We had pretty what's the word? Not assertive. It's the other one.
Strict
Yeah, strict
upbringing.
parent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The boomer
From-
life. Yeah.
yeah, but that's from what they got from their parents,
Yeah. Exactly.
and it was like kind of like a just teeny tiny bit turned down version of that, but it was still like the trauma still got passed.
oh, the trauma
on.
was still there, and that's why I think we were the
The gentle
trauma
parent, yeah,
breakers.
yeah,
and so we kind of reverted 180
yeah, maybe too much.
too much. Yeah.
Maybe go 90 degrees.
So maybe the Gen Zers will be the 90 degrees when they have kids.
I wish them the best. Or maybe they'll decide no kids.
I feel like they decide no kids.
I think so. I think
Millennials, half the millennials don't even want kids.
Yeah,
I feel like
and then
Gen Z
it's
will
just
be
gonna be
like,
like,
no kids
no,
at all.
no kids
and
at
then
all.
humans will just die.
Yeah. Well, good luck. That's it for episode 24.
Yay. Sorry to the Gen Zers, we didn't mean to attack you.
I don't think it was an attack. I think it was an analysis.
Why do you guys think you don't care? Tell us.
They're not our demographic listeners, so I don't think you'll hear back from them.
No, they're really not.
But that's a good question to pose.
Maybe we'll ask William. William.
Yeah, but he thinks he cares.
Maybe because Vincent's around.
Yeah, but I can't ask him that without Vincent around. Because
Okay.
it's like he still looks at me as if I'm an extension of Vincent.
Yeah,
get
which
what I
you
mean?
are.
Anyway, thanks for listening
Thanks for
to
listening.
episode 24. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as video on YouTube and Spotify, by the way.
Yay.
Much to Hazel's dismay.
Yeah, I actually have to
Because
look,
she has to try now
I actually
on
have
camera.
to look presentable now. I used to just rock up and you can only see my face. I'm like, that's fine. Now I have to think about my outfits.
I can zoom in.
Yeah, you should have.
Do you want that?
Yeah, because
it's just gonna be your face here.
no, like upper body. Anyways.
Anyway, so if you do like listening to us, please subscribe or rate us 5 stars. 5 stars only. I've changed my mind.
Okay, I'm glad you reverted back
Yeah.
to 5 stars only.
On that. I'm not taking.
Because I
anything
was
less.
like, why am I accepting less?
Nah, we're good enough.
Yeah,
I
we are
think.
good enough for 5 stars.
Yeah, we're 24 episodes in.
Yeah.
We made it to earn 5 stars. So
Yeah.
yes, 5 stars only. And if you don't want to give 5 stars, don't bother.
Just leave us alone.
Still subscribe though. Just don't.
Just don't vote.
rate. Just don't rate.
Just don't do anything. Just subscribe. And that's
Just be
it.
a Gen Z and don't give a fuck.
Yeah, just don't give a fuck. That's fine.
Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.